fams, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for clicking this like, subscribe, and share button. Thank you for coming back to watch this video. So now, let's dive right into the review of this book. We're considering, in this video, I'm sharing my lessons from part 2 of this book, right? No Excuse by Tracy. Part 2 says that self-discipline in business, sales, and finance. So if you're a finance person, a sales person, a business person, you need to watch this part 2 video, basically. Chapter 8 of part 2, self-discipline and work, right? There is no area of your life where self-discipline has greater impact on your future than on your work, because averagely of 8 hours per day at work, right? This is really important because that is a major part of your life, and that you're spending at work with people you don't know, or the people you will come closer with by virtue of work. So how do you get self-discipline with work? Number one, separate the relevance from the irrelevant, right? Make a list of the things that you should do in a week or in a month, right? Your KPIs, look at your KPIs, your OKRs, right? Make a list of them, right? And start working on them. From Monday morning, like list them out from Monday morning till the end of the week, and like, okay, this is what I'm doing. On Monday, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. That makes you respected, because you would not be able to procrastinate, and then people will be able to say that, okay, this person, when this person has his or her KPI, they will deliver. So number 2 is that develop an excellent reputation in your organization, excellent mindset, right? When they ask you to do something, do it thoroughly. Number 3 is that get on the same page about what work is important. You understand? Talk with your boss, talk with your supervisor, like, okay, which one is important? I now have my OKR, but which one is important to you, right? And flesh that out. So these 3 things will enable you to become an excellent person at work. Chapter 9, self-discipline and leadership, right? The overarching characteristics of a leader is that he is in complete control of himself and every situation. Every leader must have self-discipline, self-control, willpower, and self-mastery, right? So basically, why do you think self-discipline is important to leadership? Number 1, because leaders have vision and are able to communicate it, right? Number 2, that a leader is a standard bearer. Number 3, that a leader must walk the talk. Number 4, that a leader must set standard. Self-discipline is important to leadership because you must be able to communicate your vision. Not just communicate you must be able to own and communicate your vision. You must be able to set that standard and walk the talk as a leader. You don't want to be a leader that when it calls for 8 a.m. meeting, by 8 a.m. he's still sleeping. You don't want to be that kind of leader. So you must infuse self-discipline into leadership, right? Chapter 10, self-discipline and business. The first law of economics is scarcity. That's the first law of economics. Scarcity, demand and supply, right? Hence, there is never enough of anything for everyone who wants it. There's really never anything never enough, right? The more you want more. Specifically, there are never enough customers for you to sell to. Like everything you want to sell, there are never enough customers for that, right? So you must be disciplined enough. Self-discipline is important for your business because you have to think about solutions. You have to think about ways to sell, right? That's the idea I learned from chapter 10, self-discipline and business. Chapter 11, self-discipline and sales. Self-discipline and sales. The most important element in business success is selling, right? If you produce all of the production that you need to make, right? But if you do not sell them, you're not going to make money, and in addition, your company is going to run down, basically, right? Nothing basically happens until sales takes place, because all of the factory building, the number of employees you have, buying of raw materials, they all translate into sales. Whether you're a salesperson or a business owner, you'll be required the self-discipline to focus and concentrate on generating sales every hour of every business day. You understand? So why is it important to monitor business operations and the likes, right? You also need to focus on a high level of self-discipline. You also need a high level of self-discipline to focus on sales and marketing. Else your company will just broke, right? So how do you enact self-discipline when it comes to sales? Number 1 is that overcome your fear of rejection, right? If you want to overcome your fear of rejection, I usually refer to people to McDonald's, right? McDonald's chicken, fried chicken, you understand? At the age that it was selling chicken from house to house, right? Door to door. And finally, it blew up, you understand? Overcome your fear of rejection. Number 2 is that Increase face time with customers and prospects. You understand? Talk with them face to face, have conversation with them, know their problems, find solution to it. Number 3 is that remain positive and optimistic. Number 4 is that start early. Start selling your business early. Don't wait till your company is finally established before you start selling. Start from the day you had the idea. Chapter 12, self-discipline and money. Right? In their book, The Millionaire Next Door, Thomas and William showed that the reason for financial problem is not low earning, but lack of self-discipline and inability to delay gratification. So the starting point of achieving financial independence is to discipline yourself, to rewire your attitude towards money, to rewire your mind to associate happiness with saving and not otherwise. You understand? So your mind must be accustomed to that. Yes, I feel happy when I save, not that I feel happy when I buy things. You don't need to buy things. You need to delay gratification, right? So there are 5 action points that you need to take to experience self-discipline when it comes to money that Tracy shared. Number 1 is that make a conscious decision today to take complete control of your financial life. Make that conscious decision that I want to be in charge, in control of my financial life. Number 2 is that set up a separate bank account and begin to save at least 10% of your money, of your income every month, right? Number 3 is make a list of all your debts and create a payment plan, a plan to start paying them off, right? Number 4 is that calculate the exact amount you would need to be financially independent at the end of your career, right? And set this as your financial goals, right? Number 5 is to practice frugality, right? Or frugality in spending by putting off and delaying every expenditure you possibly can until you achieve your long-term financial goals, right? Basically, I'm saying that you should delay what? Gratification. Chapter 13, self-discipline and time management. The truth of the matter is that there is no area of your life in which self-discipline is more important than the way you manage your life, right? Or the manage your time. Because time management is really life management. Because time is perishable. It cannot be saved. It cannot be bought. It cannot be stolen. You understand? So if you waste your time, you are indefinitely wasting your life, right? So how do you become better disciplined with your time? Number 1, like assess the true value of everything you do. You understand? Some things you do are 5 times or 10 times more valuable than other things, even though they have the same like number of minutes or hours to do them. For example, right? For example, playing game and working, right? You can play game for 8 hours. You can work for 8 hours, right? The same hour, but they have more value. Working has more value than playing games. Another thing you can do to be better disciplined with your time is personal strategic planning, right? What you do is that you get the highest return of energy from your activities. Like it helps you get the highest return of energy from your activities. You understand, right? You personally strategically plan your life, plan your day. That okay, if I do this heavy task in the morning, by noon I should do a low task, by night I should do an heavy task. You understand? Plan your life strategically. Another thing you can do is to think before you act, right? Before you commit to any time consuming activities, like you must always ask yourself, is this the very best use of my time? Right? Is this the very best use of my time? Right? And then, I want to go to the market. Can I send someone else? If I go to the market myself, is it the best use of my time at this time? You understand? Away. So lack of self-discipline in time management basically leads people to procrastinate. You understand? Another thing you can do is to identify consequences, right? Some things are important to the degree that it has serious potential consequence. For example, completing a course of study, right? Completing a course or a degree in a university has a huge number of impact, like about 50 years, for the next 50 years of your life, has impact for the next 50 years of your life. You want to hamper the consequences you would feel or you would come to terms with for the next 50 years of your life because you want to do something else while you should be in school taking that course, right? Tracy also went as far in this chapter to discuss practical ways to manage your day-to-day time, right? We've talked about how to manage your life, how to manage your time, right? But how do you manage your day-to-day time, right? Number 1 is that before you begin each day, list everything you have to do that day, right? Ask a new task arises, just act on them. You understand? Just write to them that, okay, I'm to wash plates, I'm to fill in this report, I'm to do this and that, right? As new task comes in, add them to that old task. You understand, right? Number two is to organize your work list by prioritizing. So these tasks that you've created, right? Prioritize them using the A, B, C, D, and E method over and over again, right? A means that must do because it has serious consequences for not completion. B is should do because it has mid consequences for not doing, right? C is nice to do because it has like there's no consequence whether I do it or not. There's no consequence. D is like delegate, right? Anything that you feel like you should delegate, just delegate. E is like eliminate, just remove it totally. So when you prioritize them according to these metrics, you'll be able to manage and organize your life. Chapter 14 and the final chapter in this part 2, self-discipline and problem solving. Self-discipline and problem solving, right? Thoughts are causes and conditions are effects, right? There's a law of cause and effect happening in our world today. So what this means is that the quality of your thinking largely determines the quality of your life. It was a Sufi philosopher, Kant, that said life is continuous succession of problems. Like waves from the oceans, it never stops. That's just the truth. Life is problems from problem to another problem. You understand? So one major way to be self-disciplined when it comes to solving problem is to keep your mind clear, right? First of the discipline you need to solving problem is first of all what? Keep your mind clear. You would agree with me that when you experience like child's traumas, like unexpected issues, right? It's just hard to just keep your heart clear, keep your heart still, your mind like calm. You understand? Your mind just wants to keep wavering through the problem, going either and forth. You understand, right? So you need that self-discipline in solving problems. So there are 9 steps or 9 methods for solving problems effectively, right? That Tracy shared. Number 1 is that take time to define the problem clearly. You understand? In medicine, they say that accurate diagnosis is half the cure. Oh, yeah, actually, doctor will sit down and ask you that, how do you feel? Like, tell me how you feel right now. And then they will say, oh, I feel headache, I feel fever. They will ask you, oh, do you feel back pain? Like, slightly back pain. Left or right side of your back? Oh, the left side. Like, okay, yes, this is truly an headache. This is truly malaria, right? Half diagnosis, right? Or accurate diagnosis is half the cure, right? Clearly define the problem. Number 2 is that ask yourself, is this really a problem, right? Because remember that there are some things that you can do that you know that there's nothing that can be done. Like this is just fact of life. You understand? A natural occurrence, right? Oh, earthquake happened in this place, and you're like saying that this is a problem. It's not a problem. It's just a fact of life. Just find ways to just like manage that whole process. Basically, number 3 is that ask yourself, what else is the problem? Because the truth of the matter is that what we think is the problem might not actually be the only problem. So there are a lot of other problems that can basically occur. 4, ask, how did this problem occur? Ask yourself, how did this problem occur? Because you need to understand the causes of this problem, right? So you can ensure it doesn't happen again. Because the truth of the matter is that while you're looking for a solution, you're also looking for ways to not allow that thing reoccur again. Number 5 is ask, what are the possible solutions, right? Because the more possible solutions that you develop, the more likely you would come up with the right one, right? So you just basically list out of the possible solutions that, oh, 1, 2, 3. If plan A does not work, plan B should work, plan C should work, right? Number 6 is that ask, what is the best solution at this time? Now you have a list of problems, you have a list of solutions rather, right? Ask yourself, what is the best solution to deploy at this time? Number 7 is to make a decision. This is discipline. Make a decision. Number 8, assign responsibility to yourself, to your colleagues, to people, different people. Assign that responsibility. Number 9 is what? Set a measure for the decision. Now you've highlighted the problem. Now you've highlighted the solution. How do you know that this solution is working, right? Set a metrics to determine, to measure that to measure the level of right or wrong, to measure the accuracy of your decision. Thank you for watching this video. Please drop a comment, like, share, and click the subscribe button. I'm counting on you. Thank you. See ya in the part 3, final part. Excuse the power of self-discipline.